Hello there. Now today I've got a Bose Wave radio on the bench. It's model number AWR1-2W, and from all accounts it's got a hum on the audio. So I'm going to get it apart and see what we can do about rectifying it. I suspect it'll be capacitors. It usually is with these things. So let's get it open and have a look. I'll just demonstrate the noise before I start to take it apart. And that's it. If I whack the volume up higher, you can hear the radio is actually working. But if I minimise the volume, you can just hear that buzz or hum if you like. So we'll have it apart. Now to open it, we've got 4 screws. 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's whiz them out. Okay, let's have a look. Oh my word, that has got some muck in it and a strong smell of electrolyte. Well, I think the first thing I'm going to do is get the vacuum and get all that dust out. But I can already see in this area here there's some, like a wet patch showing in the dust, which I assume is going to be electrolyte. And also down the back there's 2 caps there that look as though they've leaked. So let's get it cleaned off so we can get a better look. Right, that's a little bit better. So let's start disassembling it. And we'll start by unplugging the speakers. And then we need to undo these 2 plugs here from the top cover. That's it, we can take that away now. Now we'll start by removing the transformer. So there's 4 screws here on the top of. We can lift that plate out, put it to one side. Need to push that little tab in on the side of that plug to lift it off. And then this back one. And there's the transformer. Put that to one side. And now I think okay, so there's the board out. Doesn't look too bad on the back. Now we're going to take this sub board off. Just pops out like that. Stick that to one side for a minute. Now we can have a proper look. Yeah, these 2 caps here are certainly leaked, and it looks as if some here have, and the battery backup terminals They're both dry jointed, so we'll just pop them to one side for a minute and solder them back in when we come to reassemble it. Now, I've done a little bit of research, and from what I can gather, these two caps are a common failure and will cause that humming sound. So we'll have these out and test them, but I suspect they are knackered. I've also read that these small, what I think are called miniature caps, Bose used a faulty batch of them back in the 90s, and I've read something on a forum that suggested that all these miniature ones of the same brand should be replaced, both on the main board and also on the daughter board. So I'm gonna perhaps pop them all out and test them individually to see what's what with them before I go about changing the whole lot. I might only change the ones that, like this one, where I can see that they've leaked. Although down here is a link there. Where is it? There. That looks as if it's tarnished, or maybe. And these here, look, are definitely green. So we'll start getting some of these caps out and get them tested with the ESR meter, and we'll have a look how many I need to replace. Okay, so I've got those first two capacitors removed. So I'm going to try and test them with my ESR meter, but I don't think it goes down low enough, as these are 0.47 microfarad, 50 volts. But we'll see anyway. So pop the clips onto each of the legs, like so, making sure we're not shorting, and then we just press the button to test. No, it won't read that. Just try a brand new capacitor. The only difference with this is it's 0.47, 63 volts, because I've no 50 volt. But I think it'll not read a new one either. No. So we'll test them with the Fluke multimeter, which is the Fluke 12. So we'll do the new one first. Just a lead on each leg. 0.466 microfarad. Well, that's the good one that I'll be replacing them with. And this is the one that I suspect is, no, it's not even reading. So that's clearly knackered. And I thought it, obviously with the amount of electrolyte on the board, I would be very surprised if they were any good. I'll just test the other one. No. So yeah, they're both knackered. So we'll crack on and get the new ones fitted, and then crack on and get round the board. Now before we replace these capacitors, we're first going to have to clean this area up, both on the top side and the bottom of the board, because this staining that you can see here, where they were positioned, is now conductive with the electrolyte that's leaked out. I just pop the meter onto that top of the board, you'll see that it is reading. So that's going to come off, and I expect there'll be other areas that will be just as bad. So let's get some alcohol on that and give it a clean. Now when you come to refit the caps, the negative side is donated by the line shown here and here, and on your capacitor this line is your negative side, so that goes to the side with the line on the board. So there you go, one like that. Right, so the backing here and here, angled them away from the chip to try and avoid them overheating, and then on the rear it's just been a case of finding the tracks that were damaged, and I've just brought the legs of the capacitor out to the nearest points, obviously making sure I'm not shorting anything. I put a bit of thin plastic underneath that one because it was close to the board and that component there, but it should be okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go around the board now looking for any more signs of leakage. I can see there, if you look, you can see there's evidence of a cap leak in there. Also, it's very evident there, and I think there may be some in the centre of the board here somewhere, that around this area. I have had the multimeter probes on the board, and that residue is conductive, so I expect it to be electrolyte. So I'm going to crack on with that, and I'll list all the caps that I've actually replaced when I know what they are. So I'll get back to you shortly. Right, well this is the last 5 capacitors. Okay, so having looked at the daughter board, these 3 of those mini caps here, 10 microfarad 16 volt, they looked alright on inspection, but I noticed the Lego one had turned a little bit on the green side. So I fitted 3 new ones there. They are 10 microfarad, but they're 25 volt, because that's all I've got. But the one of the ones that came out, which was the one that was really bad, if I stick the ESR meter on it, it claims it's in circuit and the ESR's over 19 ohms. So even though that looked okay, you know, I can't really see any sign of leakage on that, apart from possibly a tiny bit of a green tinge on one of the legs, although now I've been handling it, it's actually gone. So it is wise to change them while you're at it. So I'm just going to solder these 3 in now, and that should be it, and I can start reassembling and give it a test. So let's get them soldered in. Just give them a trim off, clean the board, and then we'll start reassembling. Okay, so I finally finished replacing the caps that needed doing. I've actually had to replace 21 in total, which I'm going to list in the description below, and also the values. Most of these in this corner here have all been replaced apart from that one. This section here has all been replaced, and there's been some down in this area, and I think over here, I'm not sure now, I forget, but it's all done, cleaned, ready to be reassembled. The other caps that I've had to change are the ones on the daughter board, which are these three here, which I think were 10 microfarad 16 volt. I've replaced them with 10 microfarad 25 volt because I had no 16, but they should be fine. So I'm just going to get it back together now and give it a test and see what it does. So give us a minute and I'll get back to you. Okay, so she's back together. All we need to do now is give it a try. Have I plugged it in? Yep, she's plugged in. Let's switch her on. On. Right, that's on. Volume's right down. And there's no horrible hum. Let's just whack that up. That seems to be okay. Let's stick this T-aerial in and see if we can actually get any stations. Where is the end of it? Yeah, that seems okay. It's now usable, that's the main thing. The only thing I notice is that some of these buttons are a bit on the lazy side, but they'll just need cleaning. So perhaps that's for another video. But as far as this one goes, I'm quite happy with the results. So I hope that's been of some help to you. Many thanks for watching. I hope to catch you in the next one.